Hello, guys. Welcome back to another show. Hello. Hi. Hi, Uni. It's so good to have you. Hi. Yes. So I was just telling my viewers, I was just welcoming them to another exciting episode of Healthy Bands with Aidi. And I am really excited because every time I get to have a guest join me, and I've been very particular about the type of guests that I have on the show, and they have to be Akwa Ibomites because that's where I'm from. And I want us to be able to discuss ways we can move Akwa Ibom forward that is beneficial for Akwa Ibomites and our future generations. So I am really excited to have you here and to be able to talk to you about some of those things too. Welcome. That's awesome. I am really excited to be a part of your that kind of history for you. And I'm also new to YouTube. I'm exploring YouTube, and I think it's a wonderful platform to be able to discuss concerns that things that actually matter in the long run. So I am, like I said, excited that you are here. So, without any delays, because we have a lot, I think we have a lot to unpack, but at the same time, we have a short amount of time to go through all of it. So, without any delays, I would love for you to tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, particularly which local government you're from, and if you're so inclined, which village you're from in Akwa Ibom, because I also want to know where this passion is coming from for a better Akwa Ibom, which is what should be. But I'm excited to get to know you as well as my viewers who either will join us live right now or they will be able to watch the show after. So tell us about yourself, Mr. Ini.
So my name is Iniobong Dixon Jr. Um, I, I prefer you call me Ini. I'm from, as you said earlier, I'm from Akwa Ibom State, Abak local government area,
Ooh, okay. I'm from
and
Ibiana, so I love a pack.
and I'm from the main town. So the village is my father's house, and his
Mhm.
father's house is just on Ikotekpene Road,
Oh.
opposite opposite Oduakabasi Clinic.
So you're from the city then? You're from the city in Abak. That's interesting. I think we lost you for a minute, but we'll have you back soon. If you're just joining us, I have an Akwa Ibom son here from Abak local government, and he is wanting to. Oh, I think we lost him. So, guys, share this live with your Akwa Ibom friends. Share on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Share it wherever you have Akwa Ibomites on your timeline, so they can join this conversation. Continue, please. Mm, mm-hmm, mm, yeah. Okay.
Investment banker or analyst. advisor. Um, I'm just someone who has some deep heritage in Akwa Ibom State, and I currently live in Akwa Ibom State. So I'm equally an interested party. I'm
Exactly.
interested in government,
Yes.
and I believe that there are different ways to contribute without having, you do not have to uh, be in a political office before you can contribute to your government. It all
Hmm.
depends on how you governance. Um, I know some people, there's always a misconception of how to view the government, regardless of the system of government we operate in. You
Yeah.
have some people in the government as the owners of, they see the government as the owners of the state,
Mm.
the owners of the country. You see some people see them as oppressors.
I think connection is a bit poor, but we'll have it back soon. Guys, please continue to share, like this live, and share, comment, just react. Let me know that you are watching and that you're with us. And if you have any questions, whether it's regarding policy or it's regarding um, whether it's regarding policy or it's regarding the show itself or just the people that are on this show today, please go ahead and comment, share, like, and let's know that you are with us. And hopefully, we will have our guests back shortly. Thank you so much, Ine. I have been eating and I have been resting a lot more. I've been drinking water, that's what has changed. But thank you very much for noticing. Hello, Ini. Are you with us? Can you hear me? I can no longer hear you. So, if you're just joining us, this is another episode of Healthy Bands with Aidi. And today I have another passionate Akwa Ibom child with us who is equally as passionate as I am about better governance and better policies for the people of Akwa Ibom State. And we have him back. So, yes, you were saying that some people in
All right. So,
politics see themselves as the
yes.
godfathers and as operators.
Yeah.
Yes, the host is black is from Akwa Ibom. I'm from Ibiana. I have some comments on here, and people are wondering where I'm from. I am from Akwa Ibom State. I'm from Ibiana. I love all things Nigeria, all things Akwa Ibom, and that's honestly what inspired this show. So thank you for asking, Jerome. Okay, so um,
Yeah.
back to governance and people in politics seeing themselves as the owners of politics and the owners of governance. You were saying we lost you because of connection, but I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. It's really terrible. I don't know. I just had to switch to my Wi-Fi
Oh,
from the
okay.
mobile internet.
Mhm. All right.
Um,
I was
I
hoping that more than that. I was hoping that more than you not being obviously not being in politics right now. I'm hoping that
yeah,
somehow you might be interested in becoming a policymaker because, I mean, to be quite frank, that's one of the ways that one of the most effective ways to actually enact most of these good policies that are for the people of Akwa Ibom. And without being, in that caucus, if without being a policymaker, I'm hoping that that's in your future, because I know right now you're saying you're not a politician, and that's good and fair. But in order for us to implement some of these good policies, surely we will need people who are progressive thinking to be policymakers. So I just wanted to keep in mind that I hear you, but I'm also saying that could be a good future direction for you. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I hear you. I hear
Okay.
yes, I hear. But for now, like I said, I have no interest, and as a matter of fact, um, and that brings me to the because I think we're just going to jump right into discussing the future of policy making in Akwa Ibom State,
I think that's
because
what most people are going to want to join us to hear, and I'm really looking forward to discussing that. But feel free to talk about, your background and what you currently are into right now.
oh, okay, all right, okay. So before we go,
Yeah.
go into that, um, right now I am a professional. I'm a software developer by profession. I'm in tech leadership. I like to see myself as a solutions enthusiast,
Mm,
or a solutions architect, someone who provides solutions, business solutions.
mm,
3 years or so, three,
okay.
4
Okay.
in Cross Rivers, and moved back to Lagos, and now I'm in Akwa Ibom. Well, honestly, Akwa Ibom is a very uh, peaceful and clean, serene, and peaceful place to stay in. Um, So when you're from Akwa Ibom and you grow up in Lagos, you somewhat have a how do I put it? You somewhat look at your place as the village, like
Mm,
it's where you have the low life staying and all that. But living in Akwa Ibom, I remember um sorry, I don't not just Akwa Ibom. Let me try to share a story of probably where my passion for development in Akwa Ibom comes from.
mm,
So growing up in Lagos, I never visited Akwa Ibom, until I got admission into secondary school, Federal Government College, Ikotekpene, and my dad wanted me.
mm.
My roots,
When
and
did you graduate from Ikore? Because I went to Ikore Town, so I know you guys were our rivals. So when did you
oh, you went.
graduate?
I didn't from unfortunately I didn't graduate from IKK. I graduated from St. Patrick's College, Ikodansa in Calabar.
Oh,
So I
okay.
left I think in JS2 or 3, JS2 I think, towards the end of JS2, because then we had a lot of issues. They wanted to privatize the school and we went on strike for a
Mm.
long time.
Yes,
That
we had the same problem in our school. There was a threat for
oh
privatization. Yeah,
yeah, during that
that is,
OBJ time,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I left there, but when I came to at the time, when before coming to Akwa Ibom, I came to Cross River first, that's Calabar.
Mhm.
And when you grow up in Lagos, everybody knows you as a Calabar person. They don't know
Right.
Lagosians
We're
then.
all
I maybe
bundled. Yeah, they all bundle us as one people.
yeah, they all bundle us as Calabar person. So when I, we the way they see Calabar, especially when we have people come from Akwa Ibom to visit us or to help us, in Lagos,
Mm-hmm.
and then you find out that they cannot speak English fluently, and they
Right.
have the accent, and you just think, oh, these people are bush people, they came from the bush, and but then this guy is KC Fresh. Then there's this song they released about Calabar. If you enter
Uh-huh.
Calabar, it be like
Yes.
small
Yes, I remember
Cuba
this
King
song.
back then. So that gave that image of, those guys were helping build up an image of
Yes.
Calabar and Akwa Ibom
Yes.
in Lagos. Because even my neighbors that were not from Akwa Ibom or Cross River traveled to Calabar before me. They went to
Wow.
Calabar for Christmas holiday to go and have the experience of Calabar that we were
Wow.
looking at as,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
they traveled to Calabar for the Christmas holiday, and they came back excited. Oh, the Christmas tree that they had and all that. And now they inspired. We also wanted to
Right.
go and see what it was there as
Yeah.
well. And you had all that development in Calabar during the time of when you had Donald Duke as the governor.
Mm-hmm.
You had a lot of tourists. Calabar was well developed as a tourist, or as a tourist city.
Yeah.
And Akwa Ibom, well, I think we've been left behind for a while. And coming down to Akwa Ibom, leaving Cross River, coming to Akwa Ibom, I can on that. I think I remember the disappointment at that time when you go to Ikotekpeni and it's all business and business and business, and there's nothing there's nothing
Yeah.
tourism
No
about it.
touristic. Yeah.
But today everything has changed. I think the narrative of, Akwa Ibom has changed.
Yes.
Um, we we can easily find pride in the state. We can easily take pride in what our state is. When
Mm-hmm.
you go to Uyo and even the smaller cities, not just Uyo, including Kodekpene and Abak, and you see the developments, the roads, the bridges we have, and all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement, and you cannot, it's something. It makes it easy for you to see a brighter future for the state, that
Absolutely.
you can live and live here and belong here. You don't have to, because regardless of how we're going to try to promote the one Nigeria, when you're not in Nigeria, we are multicultural, and
Mm-hmm.
every culture, the people value their place, their heritage. They take pride in it.
Absolutely. And they should. I don't think honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. I
Not
think
even
we should
wrong with that.
I think we should encourage it because the more people who take pride in the places where they are from and their heritage, I just feel like the problem with more people taking pride in where they're from and their tribe and all of that is that they feel the need to hate people who are not of that tribe, which I feel is foolish, right? Because if you're prideful that you are an Igbo person and I take pride that I'm from Akwa Ibom, why can't we share in that pride? Why can't we teach each other things of our culture and our heritage instead of anyway? So that's I think that's a different conversation, but continue.
Yeah, yeah. You of that. So yeah, so me too. Let me also, like I always tell people, here in Akwa Ibom, this is my own place. When I go to the beach in Ibino and I see them and they try to harass me and they say, "Hey, your guy, you have to pay." I tell them, "Hey, look here, this is my own place. You cannot stop
Yeah,
me from entering the beach.
yeah,
I will take money from my pocket and give you as a, but you will not stop me. I will
right.
pay whatever levy, but not
Yeah,
harass me like
yeah.
I harassed every other place." Yeah. So um when we had that, before the protests, this
Hmm.
recent protests that we had, when we jumped on Twitter space, because that was where we met.
Yes, that's
And
where I yes.
the conversation on the conversation was all about, you know the grievances of the people in the state, and protesting, and coming out to protest against, then how many? I think it's the building that the structure that we had the
Yeah,
state government wanted to
the
put up
18 tower
in Lagos State.
structure in Lagos,
Yeah,
yes.
yes, the tower in Lagos and all that. Yeah, so when I joined the space to hear,
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Just to be, yes, I think absolutely, I agree.
yeah,
I agree. Just having
and
us come together to discuss was it's some good
mhm,
progress. Yeah.
yeah, and for me, I've been, it's been like a burden in my
Hmm.
heart for a long time that whenever I meet Nigerians coming together, and it has something to do with governance. The approach we usually take is protest. It's been like what's it called? It's some sort of routine. Everybody wants to protest. There's
It's
this
not
urge
always,
for protests.
but I mean, you can also understand where they're coming from because when you have a government year in year out that consistently are not doing, they're not even taking. I mean, where is where is the level of expectations? Like, where is the bar? When you have a set of government that continually go below the bar for people compared to the resources that we know that we are getting, it makes no sense. So, in the face of nothing making sense, people want to incite more riots and more protests in the hopes that it will allow those people in government to listen. So, I also understand because you do not hear people protesting or gathering to protest governments that are doing well behind their people. It doesn't happen ever. So there is also something to be said of
Yeah,
the government. When there's
I
always,
understand.
when people only gather to protest you, then you probably should be like, what are we doing differently? What are we doing wrong that people only want to protest us?
Yes, I understand that clearly, very clearly. But I think that there's a misunderstanding with regards to, protests and riots. Um, when we protest as a people, we're actually appealing to the government
Hmm.
for their sympathy. We
No, we
want
have a
them to look
demand.
down on us
No,
with
we have
sympathy.
we
When
should
we
have a
riot,
demand. Okay, when we
eh,
riot, what is the
when we
difference?
I don't know. Some people don't understand. There's a riot. Some people have not don't understand the implication of riots.
Why
And
is that
so
bad?
I will never. You see, and that's where I'm gonna try and explain as much as possible because there are people that are gonna watch this video and some people are pained about the government and so I'm gonna try my best to explain so that I do not for cause further confusion. But most people don't understand that when you riot, when you come together to riot against a government, that there's a riot act that the government can use against you.
Of
And
course.
when you come together to protest, when you're protesting, you are appealing for sympathy.
Hmm.
You are appealing for the sympathy of the government. You're trying to say, government, this thing that you are doing, please look down on us. That's why they always try to say peaceful protest. They try to encourage it and emphasize on the peace in the protest. Because if it gets out of hand and becomes violent, it becomes a riot. If they lose control over it, it becomes a riot. And the
Yeah,
government has the right to use any type
absolutely.
of force that control the riot.
Yeah.
So, with regards to protesting, it is usually a call for, it is you're appealing to these people to sympathize, for their sympathy. And like I said earlier, that it depends on how you view the government. If you view the government as the owners of the state, then you can go and appeal to them, and say, hey, the cost of bread is too high. Please give us bread for free or reduce the cost of, if
Mm-hmm.
you view them as and there's something that I also want to mention. One of my bosses used to say this thing a long time ago, that you cannot get anything good out of anybody or any system that you've already accepted that they are bad or evil. So I also, take that with governance. If you
Mm-hmm.
think your government is bad, it will be difficult for you to, get anything or cause any positive change,
Mm-hmm.
because you will not want to interact with them. And that is one of the reasons why you don't have a lot of good people, or good smart people, in getting involved in politics, because there's an important saying, there's a very popular saying that evil prevails. One of the important, what's it called, they said one of the, uh
Evil
I
thrives
can't
when
remember
good
the
men
way.
are silent.
Yes, yes, yes. Evil thrives when good men are silent. And for us in Nigeria has every. If you look at our political system and the way everything happens in this country, like the way it's set up, it gives you every reason. If you see yourself as a good person, it gives you every reason not to get involved. You have every reason not to
Absolutely.
get involved.
I
Yeah.
want us,
But
before we
now,
lose time, I want us to get to a point where you can start to tell us some of these interesting policy
about
changes. Like, yeah. So I don't want us to because I want to give at least 5 minutes for any questions.
okay,
If we have any questions, yes.
okay. So, even so, as I was saying, with regards to our involvement now, the way the system is set up, you're not going to have a lot of good people get involved in protests, because if you're a smart person and you come and we come together and we begin to have a conversation about protest, if you're smart and responsible and you care about the people that you are bringing together, you're also going to be worried about their safety. And you are responsible for them, even if you don't bear the direct consequence.
Yeah.
You'll be guilty of, in your own conscience, you'll be guilty. If I lead a group of hungry people and ask them to come and join me in protesting, I may get away, I may be able to control myself not to get violent out there, but I cannot
Mm,
control these other people. When
yes.
I get out and they are arrested, by the officers of the law, I now have to
Yeah.
start running around and trying to get them out of it. So you're not going to have a lot of good people participating in, a lot of good people and people from the middle class participating in, um,
Government protest.
directing, yes, in sort of somewhat controlling the government, because that's
Right.
what we're supposed to do. We own the government. We're supposed to try, and all those people that are there are some facilitators. We're supposed to
Right.
try and control whatever they are doing there. They have a lot of power, but that is what one of the things we're supposed to do is we're supposed to try and ensure that we have some level of control over those guys.
But we do need
Otherwise, we'll keep.
leverage for that to happen. Otherwise, and what is the leverage that we can use in order to make them, you know, act in line?
Yes, yes, and I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So I see a future, So taking the protest now, that's why I had to discuss the protest first, because the protest, it does have its own benefits, But right now, most of the protests we have, they are very shallow. You're having protests about, oh, there's hunger in the land, there's this and that, and I understand that the government, to an extent, are trying to relieve. If you look at I think everything they do is supposed to be in line with the SDGs, the 17 SDGs that you have right now. The Sustainable Development Goals, trying to
Yeah, with the
alleviate poverty,
United
and
Nations.
yeah, with the United Nations. But then again, if you look at the way the government, so I have two assumptions regarding the government people there. That one is either that they do not, first of all, it's either that they do not have our best interest at heart, they're just there for themselves. That's
Or
one. Or two, they don't know what to do. They are helpless. The job there is too much that they are so helpless. They don't know what to do.
I agree, and I
They are
think
doing,
it's. I think both are happening at the same time. I think they go in there for themselves.
they are not
They
mutually,
see,
they are not mutually exclusive. They
no,
are not mutually,
I think
so
they're. I
it's
think
possible
it's a.
that
Yeah, I
for
think it's
help
happening
that.
because they
Yeah.
get in there and the work seems overwhelming, and they go, "What else can we do? Nothing." So I just look out for myself. So I think
Yeah.
it's coupling. Yeah.
So yeah, so you have, so what happens now is that you have them trying to fix, to do the easy things that can be done. For example, you're going to hear of so many amazing plans of poverty alleviation schemes that they have out there, like building houses for widows and building houses for old people and giving them, 5,000 naira and giving poor people rice and all that. All those ones, they're spending money. To them, that is what they can do. But now, how does
Exactly.
that affect us, the middle class?
Yeah.
You have the middle class. We are the, the engine room of the economy. You see,
Absolutely.
we're the driver of the economy, the middle class. How does that affect us? What does the government do for us? So you have people from the middle
Exactly.
class. The only thing we can do, we're out of. We don't want to protest because we know the
Right.
risk of protest.
Right.
We know the risk. We're going to be the major risk bearer if we dive into these things, because we're going to get
Absolutely.
a bunch of poor people and they are going to look up to us. And if anything happens, we'll be responsible for them and their families. So we have to stay out of there. And then we don't want to come and, corrupt ourselves by going to dive into politics. We're not ready. We don't want all that.
Yeah.
So now the question: how do we get involved? How do we, the middle class, the people, all those smart people that we saw on spaces that are
Mm.
interested, the
Yeah.
interested parties, how do we get involved in the state, in somewhat controlling our state because it's ours? And the reason why, back then I said something about policies, us coming together to discuss the policies that can be enacted,
Hmm.
so that policies that allow us monitor the effectiveness of governance,
Yeah.
policies that provide us with data that makes the governance data regarding governance open to us,
Open it.
so that we can
Yes.
do our own assessments. And when we now want to protest, we can now say, okay, our protest is directed towards the Ministry of Agriculture. We want to appeal to the government to create more funding for farmers based on this data. Then we can now protest rightly.
Mm.
But we're going to need a team of, we're going to need some sort of like an open source community of people that are interested parties in the state, coming together rather than sharing grievances and saying, oh, I'm so angry, there's no light in Akwa. I've never, in fact, let me be very honest, I've stayed in this Akwa Ibom, I've never seen light for 24 hours. So I've never seen light for 24 hours in Akwa Ibom. So I'm very upset. How can, even, I've been to other states. I've slept. I've been able to stay in somebody's house and see them have light for 24 hours and be like, wow. Even if it doesn't happen regularly. But in this Akwa
Hmm.
Ibom, I've never seen it before. In Eket here that I stay in, not
Yeah.
even by mistake, that you just, you just have light for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So instead of us coming together to share grievances, I see a future where, even though it's not happening now, I think it's going to happen in the future because we started
Hmm.
coming together,
Yeah.
and then we're going to copy what we're seeing in the US. Now you have Donald Trump and Elon Musk, trying to come together and getting involved, even if they are, even if Elon Musk is not directly involved in the American politics. You're going to
Hmm.
have stakeholders, third parties coming together,
I think
to
that's
set
the
up.
key point, stakeholders. So I
Yeah,
love when you talked about the middle class getting involved, and
yeah,
the middle class is frankly carrying the economy, and people do not understand to the extent at which middle class, a stronger middle class is a stronger economy, essentially. And most people do not
but,
understand
but
that. And I love that you mentioned the word stakeholders because it's very crucial. And I think a lot of the times, even Akwa Ibom middle class people do not understand that they are stakeholders and that they can actually come up with their own solutions and like you said, partner with the facilitators. Because now, I live here in the US, and these things happen a lot. We have private citizens starting initiatives, starting companies, starting building parks, and handing over to the city, handing it over to the state, and partnering with the state to make it work or to make it more sustainable or publicly accessible. So I think there is also that awareness to be done for our people. A lot of people do not. They either hate the government or they're benefiting from the government. Um, so there is that thing, or they're just not, interested at all. And I think the people who hate are that's a good place to start, because at least you see that something can be done. There is a lacking, that can be something better can be in place of that. So I think that's good. But like you also said, there is a need for us to redirect our anger, and there is a need for us to be more diplomatic in the way we are expressing that anger, because that's the only way it gets results done. Yes, the anger like it's dramatic, it's emotionally, nice to watch, and even it gets more people talking, but it really doesn't bring any solutions. So I think if we're looking to get more results rather than to portray ourselves as street fighters and government protesters, I think there is a need to maybe go back to the drawing board and say, hey, how can we actually have a dialogue? How can we bring something, so that something undeniable, like you said, data, they can't deny
Yeah.
that, right? So yeah, I, I
Yeah.
also think our government people should be trained. They should have leadership trainings, because a lot of them are overwhelmed. They do not know what Nigeria just happened. They do not know what questions to ask. They do not know the people to rely on. They do not know what sort of data to ask for. So the most they can do is to do things that people can easily see and forgive them of not doing anything tangible. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So as I was saying, you
yes.
see, now they've just NEPA has
I
happened.
know,
It
it's
has
such
happened.
a great example. I'm glad it happened right on this show, so that those that are
Yeah.
watching in the future can see this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I have a gen. I don't know if I put the gen on. I think the sound maybe, but
It's
I don't know
okay.
if the lighting. Can we go
I
on?
really I really enjoy you coming on here, so I'm sure I will schedule you to be back so we can continue talking about some of these things. But um, I'm sorry that this has happened, but it's okay. Um, we've we've had a really good conversation, and you can keep going, honestly, if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I was saying, since you seem to have the same, you have a clear understanding of these things that I'm saying, that the people, the middle class needs to get involved in governance.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we should go on an attention seeking spree, in an attempt to to take over governance or whatever. That's not the plan,
Yeah.
because you have a lot of attention seekers, people who cannot contribute value, who have nothing to offer. They just want attention. And
Hmm.
sometimes, because of the attention that they want, that's why you have all these protest people trying to champion and stir protest, and drive the public crazy. But if we can have, I see a future where eventually we're going to have an open source community of
Mm.
people, of stakeholders, interested parties, people that are not necessarily, you know, um, come from Akwa Ibom State, people that
Okay.
own businesses in Akwa Ibom, people that are
Exactly.
interested in Akwa
Yeah.
Ibom. Every society doesn't just thrive on the what's it called? Doesn't just thrive on the availability of. It's not just the people that are from there, the people that are originally from that place, that
Right.
the economy thrives on. It thrives on the accessibility of the place to multiple races and multiple cultures. The fact that people see that place as a safe haven for their business, or
Mm-hmm.
somewhere that is profitable,
Yeah.
regardless of whether they are from place or not. And Akwa Ibom, we are at, I don't want to say infancy, but we haven't, our problems are not that much
We haven't
yet.
scratched the surface. I think there's a lot. We are honestly in such a good spot as Akwa Ibom.
Yes,
I think,
we
yeah.
in a very yeah. So right now we can start to put up policies that ensure that we do not run into the same mess that the states that we can learn from are in.
Hmm.
Policies that affect, that are somewhat embrace,
Are you
that make us
referring
a
to Lagos?
multicultural society,
Are
you
you
know.
referring to Lagos State?
Of course, the state that I'm referring to.
Oh my
Policies that
God.
give people policies that give, businessmen, investors, that give
Yeah.
them some sort of security that even if I'm not from Akwa Ibom State,
Yeah.
type of thing will not happen to me. I can come and set up a business here. Akwa Ibom State is very peaceful. You don't
But
have
but
we don't have.
honestly, okay, how about this? Because I think if we also can encourage more Akwa Ibomites. So honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the people from a particular region should be majority shareholders. It's what is done in Dubai. It's what is done in the UAE. You can't go there as a foreigner and have more shares or more stakes in a company than a person who is from there originally. So I think we can also have some of those policies too, where if you're a foreigner, you need to partner and you need to have set up business in Akwa Ibom, you better find someone Akwa Ibomite to partner with, and you can maybe they don't have to own majority shares in your company, but I think that could also encourage more Akwa Ibomites to set up shop and set up businesses in Akwa Ibom, or to even partner with other corporations to set up businesses in Akwa Ibom. I think that could be a good incentive to get more people interested in entrepreneurial pursuits. But um, that's neither
Yes, I
here
agree.
nor
I
there.
agree.
Yeah.
So the range of policies, the number of policies we can have, there are a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be one man's business. Coming up with
Right.
policies, developing policies, is supposed to be one man's business. It is not supposed to be for an arm of government. It's not the governor's responsibility, or the
Mm-mm.
legislators.
Otherwise, it
Everybody is
will
supposed to
change
be.
with every governor. It will change. So it can't be the
Yeah.
governor.
Yes, everybody is supposed to be
Yeah.
involved in these policies, in policy making, and the best people, to ensure that, because we are the ones that have our interests. We established early on that the people
Hmm.
that go into those positions, they don't have our interests. They have their interests first.
Exactly.
It is their interest first. It is when we're naive that we used to think that, oh, this
That
man
they
that is
had a
there, he went because he loves us so much. That is why he went. We're no longer naive. We know you
no,
went there because a
because of
good
your, yeah.
retirement plan for you,
It is. It
or
is a solid
or
retirement plan.
yeah, or just like career, just as we, have our own career aspirations and all that.
Exactly.
You too also aspired. You want to
Exactly.
be
Some people
something.
are career politicians. Like they just that's all they
Yes.
want to
So,
do.
so it's you first. We're okay with
Yeah.
that. It's fine. That's what
Exactly.
the reality we live.
Exactly.
But now again, you are managing our assets. So we should take, the people, and
Mm-hmm.
the when I say the people, it should comprise of, um we in the society that are leaders, that people look up to as leaders. Even though
Mm-hmm.
we're not politicians, we have a few
Right.
people that we're responsible for, people that are dependent
Absolutely.
on us, people we
Especially if you
employ
are an
for us.
employer. I think employers need
Yeah,
to be they need because hey, continue, sorry.
so yeah, so we cannot afford to. I grew up watching. I watched my father complain and complain and complain about governance, and nothing happened. All those complaints for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah.
I watch myself when I complain. That's the reason why I don't like to complain.
Yeah.
As soon as I find out that I'm complaining, I'm so nagging about governance, I pull myself back and say, no, no,
Yeah.
no, I can't do this too.
Yeah.
I used to watch. We loved Adam Soshomole that time when he was NLC president. We used to see him
Mm-hmm.
fight for and all that.
Exactly.
Then when
Before he realized, what have I
you
done?
understand, when he became governor, we expected more from him, and we saw all that. So
Yeah.
So we're not naive.
Exactly. It's like
We're
he
not naive.
went from
So,
fighting the government to being the government, and he realized, wow, there's a lot of power here, and
yeah.
he switched.
And I'm not judging. I'm not judging anybody. You owe it to yourself. To protect
Exactly.
yourself and to can to live your own, the best quality of life that you can. But then the people too, just as they owe it to themselves, we also owe it to ourselves
Yeah.
to ensure that we have some control. So now, if we come together and come up with some objectives and say, what are the things that would help us have some control? So at this
Mm.
state, in the next 20 years, we will continue going in the direction that we all agreed to go to. Because
Hmm.
even the number one person in this state, the governor, will retire and he will stay in the
Absolutely.
state too.
Yeah.
So I can assure you, he also wants the best for the state as well. And as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, yeah, I've listened to some of the policies and the plans the governor has, and I can tell he has a lot of goodwill. Not just he, all the other governors, regardless of the mistake they've made, they've had a lot of goodwill. And when they retire, they're going to be in the states. But it's because of, you see, our lack of involvement, and that's why power. That's why you don't put power in one place. Power needs to be, you know, across board,
Decentralized. Yeah.
shared board, so that there be some amount of balance.
Yeah.
So they too, who knows, they are waiting for us to rise up as a people and come to them and say, this, that.
Yeah.
Let's go in this direction with regards to
Or maybe
policy. And then
we should have a new office, the office of the people. Maybe we should have that. But I thought that was the office of the governor was meant to be the office of the people, but I guess I'm wrong. So maybe we need to have a
if you
different uh-huh.
if you create that as a political office, then the politics would end.
No,
You brought it into.
it won't be political. It would be more like an agency, like a non-profit that is only looking out for the people. And that could be a good office to, have discussions and tell the governments directly what we the people want. Rather than waiting for some grand protest or some sort of something to happen. We could actually have an office that is respected by both the people and the government. But that there are
Mhm.
so many
That
ways. There are
also.
so many ways to go about these things, and I just do not know why they haven't explored any of them. So
And,
yeah.
and that office can come as
Hmm.
can create boom, because policy, when you enact the policy, you're going to provide support for that policy to be
Yeah.
implemented.
Yeah.
So it will come as part of the support for these policies. So with regards to policy making, I see there's a lot of policies that could be enacted to increase or improve the quality of life of the
Hmm.
people of Akwa Ibom State, of Akwa Ibomites, people living in
Yeah.
Akwa Ibom and Akwa Ibom, the middle class too, not just the poor people, not just giving 5,000 naira and giving,
Honestly, if you
and
helped more, if you helped the middle class are the ones currently helping the poor, believe it or not. The middle class, they're the ones with family members who are, less privileged, and they're the ones with family members who are in the villages. It's the middle class. So to be fair, if you help the middle class, you are inevitably helping the rest of society. That's what I think. Because the rich people do most of them do not have access or direct contact with the poor, just based on the fact that the economic situation is way different, and they've had to just by share having those things, they've had to make different life choices, which continues to
Mhm.
create that separation between the rich and the poor. So I do think you're right with if we focused more on the middle class, and not just middle class, workers, but people who are, middle class people who are going into businesses. I think they too need support because they're the ones who end up employing our people. So yeah.
yeah, and it's unfortunate that middle class, almost everybody is running away, running to Canada, running to Europe and America,
Yeah,
so
there's yeah.
yeah, so the truth is that um all classes matter. You just need, I feel that, I strongly believe that the middle class are the ones that have been laid back. The
Hmm.
poor, because they are poor, everybody's
They
afraid
have
of the
nothing
poor.
to, well, true, because they have nothing else to lose.
Yeah, everybody's afraid of the poor. I remember some time ago in VGC, where during that COVID period, they
Hmm.
had to contribute and give money to the poor. What's it called? The poor people living around there, so that they do not gang up and attack and
But
attack
that
the
is a
estate.
sad reality
So
because, I mean,
yes,
what else would you expect in a country that has generally weaponized, and I mean weaponized purposefully, using hunger as a motivational fear to get people to do things, to get people to do things that they would otherwise not do if they were not hungry, just trying to feed themselves and their families. So it is a sad reality that we have to even think about that.
yeah. So everybody, so as it's everybody, because of the fear we have for the poor, um that the government has for the poor, because they know that the poor people, in fact, the poor people are the ones that are going to vote them. They are the ones that they can, what's the word? Is it
Insensitized.
incentivitize?
Hmm.
They can provide incentives for them to
Yeah,
lure them to vote.
yeah,
They're the ones that can, that can go crazy and be violent, because barely they have not almost nothing to lose.
right.
So they focus appeasing them with these small small things that still keep them
Trinkets.
poor.
Yeah.
But the middle class, it is difficult for someone in the middle class. The civil servants, if you're not stealing money, how do you survive? Because things are, when they even say the minimum wage, they've increased the minimum wage. For middle class employers, people who are, you have to employ people and who
Hmm.
have to do business. How do you survive? Where do you get the extra profit from, to meet up?
Yeah.
So the government has to, the middle class needs to come together. And we're not going to come together and begin to protest and go into the street and say, reduce the price of fuel. Nobody's going to, because we know that, like I said, we're appealing for sympathy. Nobody, except you've never suffered before, you've never had to beg somebody. Me, I've begged somebody before. If I know that if you have to beg somebody, you have to make sure that when you are going to beg somebody for something, you have done half of the thing, so that you can just be like, please facilitate, just help me, do this
Hmm.
thing, and it works every time. If you go to
Yeah.
someone and you say, hey, I'm very hungry, give me food to eat, you are not like you're they may not you may not get food to eat. But if you go to someone and say, hey, I have, I have bread, can you give me butter, give me
Yeah.
margarine,
Yeah.
spread something to use, the spread to use, you're more likely to get results.
Yeah.
So that's the same approach we should take with regards.
That's an interesting approach, and I appreciate you sharing it with us. I think we've lost you, but okay. Hello, yes, I can hear
Hello.
you now. Well, we have 7 minutes
Yes.
to go,
So
and I want to leave the last 5 minutes for any questions.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, keep on going. You have 2 minutes to finish your thought.
All all right. So yeah. So that's with regards to policy. That's the future. That's the future I see for Akwa Ibom. I feel with time, people are gonna gain access to this insight,
Hmm.
and gonna start focusing on these things. And with regards to investment, by the way, and with
Yes.
regards to investment in Akwa Ibom State, I think this current government, they inaugurated the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation,
Okay.
and that body, the
Is
board is
that not
currently working.
political?
But no, it isn't political. It's a separate agency
Okay.
of the government itself.
Okay.
They're trying to organize an investor forum or an investment forum. They are reaching out to investors, potential investors in the diaspora, people who uh, could make use or take advantage of the assets of the state
Hmm.
and generate some sort of revenue for
Okay.
themselves, and then give a percentage to the state. So you have that. I think that's all. That's a evidence or a demonstration of the goodwill that the state government currently has with regards to developing the state,
I
and
think
they have.
I think it's all
Mhm.
good and well whenever they have this. those plans, and they set up, even they go as far as setting committees, and we can see that they are maybe indeed working. But when you also say things like giving a percentage of that, I mean, because obviously the business person or the investor wants to make profits, and that's good. But when you say give a certain percentage, do you mean in terms of, I would prefer other things in terms of, okay, whatever investment you're bringing in, the people that are going to work here are can only be Akwa Ibomites. I think saying things like that would be a lot more beneficial than just to say, oh, you give a certain percentage to the states, because we do know that even if this money goes to the state, it sometimes just stays, amongst politicians and doesn't really reach the middle class or the poor, like we've talked about. So I'm worried that
Yeah,
even though we do have a committee and people that are working, they were still appointed by the governor and by the
yeah,
government of the day. So how do they react when the a new governor comes in, and like we see, they always never continue whatever good thing that the last person has kept. They always try to implement their own new thing, and then they dismantle this committee and they set up another investment committee. So it's just things like that, yeah, that I'm
yeah,
worried
and that's
about.
why, like, and just to provide clarity, I think it depends on the negotiate how you negotiate with the assets, the state assets. So, for example, if you're, if you're getting land from the state, you could either the state could either lease the land to you, and then you will
Hmm.
pay rent for that land, or they could own a percentage of your business, and you'd have
Okay.
to, pay for that. You'd have to return value to the state,
Yeah.
because the state is
Okay.
also for people to manage their assets and give them profits. So that's it. And then with regards to, I feel that I think this way too. Sometimes I run into this some sort of analysis paralysis, where I'm thinking about, what happens if this government is over and the new person comes and the new person is like this and like that. So I feel that if we start something, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of us have not started getting involved, because we're scared. That's the fear we have.
Mm.
But I think it's better for us to start something, and then when we start something and a new government comes and they want to scatter the thing that we've done, then we know that this government is not for us. We know that even if you are a career politician and we've given you the what's it called? First of all, we've given you that office for you to occupy. We've
Hmm.
accepted you as a governor,
Yeah.
and we want you to just do certain things for us. We're not
Yeah.
struggling power with you. All we want you to do is just to continue to honor the agreements that you've had with the people, so that we
Hmm.
can sustain the economy. And
Yeah.
when you choose to go that route, then we will be forced to come out and fight the way we can fight. Then maybe we'll be having conversations about how to take back our state.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
This was such a good conversation to have, and I hope that we can have more. And even in the future, just looking back, comparing when we had this discussion, this state of the state, as well as what has changed since we had this conversation about policies. It actually just also pains me that one of the things I feel, one of the biggest hindrances that we have, or our politicians have, is surrounding themselves with the yes men, and paying people to sort of sing their praises, or to, yeah. I think if they had more people who also were passionate, so let's say people from middle class who were passionate about better policies for Akwa, who could actually advise them rather than just taking their money, and telling them what they want to hear. I think if they did that, they probably will have a better idea of what the people want, because surely their assistants and advisors are the ones who are constantly dealing and talking to other members of the state. So I think that is also a problem with our politicians and the people they choose to surround themselves with. Let's
Yeah, that's the
see
reason.
if yeah, sorry.
That's the reason why we need to get involved without getting too involved. Because
Yeah,
if you get too involved, you get caught up in that frequency of the yes
yeah,
men.
yeah.
When you're in the midst with a higher frequency, it's either you submit,
Yeah.
and if you do where you do submit, you will be the, what's it called, you will be the villain in their midst. The
Right.
frequency will harm. They will be
Yeah.
forced to. They will see you as me within. So we
Yeah.
have to be involved. Be involved with the boundary. This is
Yeah.
where we're involved as
I mean,
cops.
I think, and we're talking about the governor because obviously that's the biggest figure that we've had to deal with since I was born. Nobody ever talked about the roles of like the people who go to represent in the parliament, or nobody really talked about them and how important their roles are for the people of their constituencies. Because outside the state government, the state capital, there are other cities that are yearning for development. And I think, like you said, middle class, us getting involved more so, knowing who to direct our complaints to, knowing which offices to say, hey, you're the one we can hold accountable for this thing not working. So I think I agree. We should get involved, but not in a way that threatens the powers that be, because they are easily scared.
On a final note, I would
Yes,
say this, that for us as a people, it's easier for us to influence the commissioner for agriculture, because we're likely going to have more access to him than the governor. It's easier
exactly.
for us to influence permanent secretary in the ministry for finance,
Housing also,
or
yeah.
they are our people. you
Yeah,
know we have to get involved to the point that we would be able to influence the people that come up to occupy those positions,
absolutely.
and to the point that if you are incompetent, you will reject the position because you know that the
Exactly.
people are going.
Yeah.
It's easy for you to, because there's some responsibility. As a matter of fact, we also need to get involved to the point that we are also creating awareness
Hmm.
for the people, because we are the ones that represent the intelligent people. When they say, oh, when people praise you and say, oh, you're from Akwa Ibom, oh, Akwa people are very intelligent, you are a representative of that intelligent community. So
Absolutely.
it is also our duty to create awareness with regards to what is the job description of all these people that you have in offices. It's only the
Hmm.
governor that everybody blames for
I
is blamed for
know.
everything.
Meanwhile,
So there has to
yeah.
be awareness. We have to have,
Yes.
like, and that's where these policies are going to come, and that's where this open source community is going to come together. We're going to have like job descriptions of everybody that's in power, their
Hmm.
address, their contact information. We're
Yeah.
going to publish everything, and maybe when we do that, and they know that we're using that we have access to all this information, and we know whose scope is this, we're
Hmm.
going to be having interviews with them like this, and we're going to say, Mr. Chairman, please tell us.
Exactly. I'm hoping that, I honestly am praying that at some point in the future, I will be able to have conversations with future policymakers and people who are aspiring to go into the house, just to hear. Like, I would love to talk to them and just pick their brains as to, do you actually know what the hell you're supposed to do when you get there? Do you know the first thing you should do? Have you thought about the things, the people you should align yourself with? Have you thought about these things? What are your people saying? And a lot of them do not, they don't do any of that homework. They have no clue. They just know that they will get paid and they will get paid well, and the rest for them is just pretend that you're doing something until your time is up, which
And then in the future, one day they will become governors too.
exactly, because they have that background. And I mean, you see how it is, right? Akpabio went from
of,
being the governor to using that background in his resume to shooting for Senate. And look where we are right now.
of course.
Anyway,
Of course, by the way, me, I think it's a good image for the state that he's a Senate president. So whoever you're
I
talking
think
to,
it used to be a good image until he started opening his mouth.
no, it's still a good image for me. It's still a good image because as a minority group, when you're someone from the minority group, people expect you to be quiet. We know the
Yeah, but there's a
incompetency. We know the
difference. There's a difference
no.
between representing your people and literally not representing your people well. There is, well, I understand where you're coming from. Good PR, bad PR, it's still PR.
Good, bad. Yeah,
But
we
but
know the level of competence everybody across board. So let him be incompetent and let him be. Whether it's incompetent, I don't. Sorry, I'm not even the best judge of evaluating whether it's incompetent or not. But regardless, let him go there and let him give us a voice. And
But he's
by the
not giving
way,
us a voice, though. The only thing he's doing is representing us. I mean, yes, he's going to inspire more Akwa Ibomites, I guess, to, but I don't see it as a positive voice. Not right now. Not when we desperately need a positive voice, regardless of where you're from in the country. I think he's just not doing such a great job. He could be doing a better job. But honestly, I'm not proud. If you're proud of that representation, I'm not.
they used to view us, as Akwa
I know,
Ibomites,
and
and
I
tell you
know.
things began to change
I
when this
probably,
person
yes,
who had
I know. He did a
come.
lot of great things. Hey, he did a
Yes,
lot of great things
you
to inspire
understand
the
where I'm,
future. No, he
you
did, and
understand
I
where I'm
would
coming.
I would never take that away from him. He brought a lot of
Yeah,
good inspiration to the people of Akwa Ibom, and for that I
yeah.
would thank him always for. But I think beyond that, come on, he's had a great opportunity to do even more. But I'm just saying it's a bit disappointing, but that it is what it is, and he's up there, and we just have to deal with it until the next best person. So. But let me see if we have any questions from our viewers. But I'd like to thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bong, for being here, for indulging us, and for giving such a great conversation. I would love to have you back in the future. Again, just to look back and see if there's been any improvements or maybe the open source data thing. Maybe you've started it, or maybe someone has heard and watched this show and has gone on to start it. So, um, in all, we just hope to keep inspiring more Kwaibu mites to get involved, get talking, get yourself educated, and beyond yourself, honestly, get your family members educated, get your village. When you go to see people in the villages and they're talking about all these things, find ways to educate them, things that helped open your eyes. Use those same things to try and open your eyes as well, for them to see that there is a direct correlation between who is in power and you as a citizen or just a member of the society. So thank you so much, Jeannie. Let me know if you have any final words for our viewers, and if you do not, and if we have no questions, it will be a good night from me. Did we lose you again? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear
Uh,
me?
yes, I can hear you now. I was wondering if you had just a final word for our viewers.
Oh no, I had a call coming, and sorry. So for the viewers, I would say that whatever, I don't know wherever you're listening from,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're from Ibom State or you're an interested party. Uh, like I said earlier, Akwa Ibom State is a very peaceful state. I think we are the most peaceful state in the country right now. We're
Mm-hmm.
very peaceful. We're very clean. We continue to sustain a clean.
I think we lost him again. But yes, he is right. Akwa Ibom is one of the most peaceful states in Nigeria. So if you're looking to um, establish a business, or if you want to expand your existing business and you're looking for the best place to set up shop, I encourage you to explore Akwa Ibom, and you will not be disappointed. I promise. The food, the people, their vibe is just great.
Sorry, I had a call and a call came in. So, like I said, we're open to doing business with you.
Yeah.
You will. Akwa Ibom is a good place for investment. Coming to Akwa Ibom. If you're interested and you want to do assessment, please. and you need someone to guide you, you can reach out to me. I'll be available. I'm trying to
Absolutely.
get.
No, I will link your I will add your Twitter handle to the
Yeah.
description below so that if anyone is interested in doing business or getting business analysis, real time information that can actually help you with your business decisions, I will absolutely hope that they reach out to you.
All right. All right. All right. So thank you. This has been good. Like I said, this was
Yes.
my memorable because it's my first. It's my first time going live on
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Uh,
Really? Well, I'm honored that your first live was with
me,
us.
Bible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ini. And I hope you have a wonderful week. I wish all of my viewers a wonderful week. And come back next week. We're going to have another exciting guest. And as always, we'll be talking about ways we can improve our Ibom, ways that we can continue to increase the dialogue on what's going on in the state. The people that are doing setting up businesses and are employing our Ibomites, we want to talk to them. So if you know anyone, go ahead and recommend them, and I will be very happy to reach out to the person and set this up. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now.
Bye.